tell you, Herman, if it has to be a pet, our cat would be ideal.
Lily, you're just being stubborn. If Eddie is going to enter anything at the school pet fair, Spot is just the animal. He's the typical boy's pet.
Oh, Spot, there's nothing clever about him. Just tell me one thing he can do besides chase trains.
Well, let's put it up to Grandpa. Grandpa, which one of our pets do you think Eddie should take to the pet fair playground?
There's no question about it.
Our cat.
Or Spot?
Neither. Igor.
Igor, a bat?
Certainly. I mean, didn't Eddie say that one of the prizes was for intelligence? I mean, does that Spot have sense enough to hang from the rafters by his toes? Can that cat fly down to the corner store for the evening newspaper?
Spot must be intelligent. If not, why isn't he extinct like the rest of his species?
But don't forget, Herman, one of the things they judge the children's pets on is good grooming.
Spot can win that, too. I told Eddie to work on him and make him look his very best.
Dad, I don't think Spot wants to be entered in the school fair. He's hiding under the stairs and won't come out.
Now, Eddie, please.
Can't you do something, Uncle Herman?
Marilyn.
Will you forget about Spot? He's nothing but a big, stupid baby.
Just a minute, Grandpa.
Yes, now wait a minute, everybody. You can handle this, Herman, dear. You coax him out.
You all seem to be forgetting. I have a way with animals. Come on, Spot. Come on out, Spot. Come on, Spot. Be a good boy. This is your Uncle Herman. Now, Spot, come on out of there. Come on out of there. Spot, you're being a very bad boy. You want to go to the school pet fair with Eddie, don't you? Poopsie? I guess he seems to be a little bit reluctant.
Gee, I gotta have a pet to take to school.
Now, Eddie, if we leave Spot alone for a while, sooner or later you'll get hungry and come out looking for somebody.
I don't care what you do. You'll never be able to get Spot to behave himself in school.
Eddie, I still think you should take our cat.
But gee, he couldn't win anything. He's just a plain old everyday house cat.
I guess you're right.
In my opinion, Eddie, you ought to take Igor to the pet fair. Oh, that cat is the most beautiful thing that flies.
He'd be smaller. But how do we know if he'll go for this little scheme? You know what happened that time it took him duck hunting.
That was terrible. He tried to fly south with that flock of mallards. 6 weeks later, he came walking home with his wings full of buckshot.
Eddie? Grandpa?
Man, am I excited. I bet I'll be the only kid with a real live, honest-to-goodness Transylvanian bat.
Well, as long as we couldn't talk Spot into entering, I guess we'll have to settle for this silly fly-by-night.
Big dummy.
Igor, come back!
Goodness me. What happened to him?
What happened to him? You insulted him. That's what happened to him.
Igor! Mom! There he goes!
I don't care what you do. You'll never be able to get Spot to behave himself in school.
Eddie, I still think you should take our cat.
But gee, he couldn't win anything. He's just a plain old everyday house cat.
I guess you're right.
In my opinion, Eddie, you ought to take Igor to the pet fair. Oh, that cat is the most beautiful thing that flies.
He'd be smaller. But how do we know if he'll go for this little scheme? You know what happened that time it took him duck hunting.
That was terrible. He tried to fly south with that flock of mallards. 6 weeks later, he came walking home.
Now, for the discus.
Harmon, wait, Harmon, please. Will you stop all this nonsense?
Nonsense.
Yes. If the boy wants to run and jump better than the other kids, let me help him with my magic.
Magic? Certainly not, Grandpa.
In the true tradition of sportsmanship, I'm going to see to it that Eddie does this with honesty, integrity,
And hard work.
Oh, boy. Just my luck.